Hi, it's Liz from Fast Kitty Crafts. Today I'll be showing you how to make this thick and quick cozy one-piece shrug that has a much better fit than typical shrugs. I wanted to design something that had a rustic quality that you could pop on for a quick errand or a walk with your dog. I used a little less than 2 balls of this size 5 bulky weight yarn. We will be using a size N or 10mm crochet hook. So start off with a slip knot and chain 24. We are beginning with the lower part of the back. Now turn the chain over, and in the second chain from the hook, place a single crochet, and in each chain across, you will then have 23 single crochets in your first row. When you reach the end, chain 1, turn, and we will begin row 2 with a half double crochet puff stitch. So it is essentially 2 half double crochets stitched together in the same stitch. So begin your first half double crochet like normal, but don't pull through those final 3 loops. Just yarn over, insert your hook into the same stitch, pull through a loop, and then pull through all 5 loops on your hook. I think puff stitches normally incorporate 3 stitches stitched together, but for this version, I'm just using 2 stitches. After the puff stitch, chain 1, skip 1 stitch, and then make another half double crochet puff stitch in the next stitch. And repeat until you get to the end of the row, ending with a puff stitch in the last stitch. And when you reach the end, chain 1, turn, and place a double crochet in the front loop of the first stitch. So when you look at those top V's of your stitches, it is the loop closest to you. Now in the next stitch in the front loop, we will create a herringbone double crochet. So just yarn over, insert your hook into the front loop, pull through and also through the first loop on your hook, chain 1, yarn over, and pull through the last 2 loops on your hook. And repeat these herringbone double crochets in the front loop until the end of the row. The last stitch will be a half double crochet in the front loop. Now here I am placing a half double crochet in that last stitch in the front loop. And the reason why I'm placing a half double crochet in the last stitch is because the herringbone stitches lean over quite a bit, and so the half double crochet kind of straightens that edge out. And that's also the same reason why we're doing regular double crochets in the first stitch of these herringbone rows. It reduces that leaning over of the herringbone. And so now for the beginning of row 4, I've chained 1, turned, and placed a double crochet in both loops of the first stitch. And the rest of the row will be herringbone double crochets in both loops until you get to the end of the row, and the last stitch will be a half double crochet in both loops. And you have now completed the first 4 rows of our gorgeous stitch pattern. You will repeat these 4 rows until you get to row 33, and that row will be your last row of single crochets. And so here I am beginning row 5, which is a row of single crochets, a repeat of row 1. And so once you've completed row 33, your panel should measure 12.5 inches high by 24.5 inches wide. If you'd like to make your shrug wider, you can add extra rows at this point. Just make sure you end with a row 1, which was your single crochet row. If you need to make your shrug longer, I'll give you more details on that in the next few steps. And here's my 33 rows complete with the right side up, and I have not finished off my yarn. And what we need to do now is go to the other upper corner of the top edge of the panel, attach a fresh piece of yarn, and chain 23. And then you can go ahead and finish off your chain at that point. And now go back to your yarn in progress and chain 24. And now turn your chain over, and in the second chain from the hook, place a single crochet. And single crochet to the end of the chain, and you will have 23 single crochets. And now I will explain how to make your shrug longer. The finished measurement of my shrug ended up being 26 inches long from the bottom of my neck to about my mid-hip. And so the easiest way to explain how to lengthen your shrug is to remember your back panel is 23 stitches wide, and then each of those 2 extensions we made were 23 stitches wide. So if you need to make it longer, your bottom panel will be longer, and then your extensions will be longer. So just make sure each of those stitch counts are the same. So let's say you extended your back panel by 4 stitches, then make sure your extensions are each 4 stitches longer. And one more note, make sure each of these stitch counts are an odd number. And now we need to evenly single crochet along the top edge of the panel, and just make sure you have an odd number of stitches. It's best to find spots where there's 2 loops to stitch into. It's more secure that way. And so now I've come to the end of the panel. I've worked an odd number of single crochets, and then just single crochet to the end of the chain, and you'll have 23 single crochets along this chain. And so now we've just completed row 1 of the 4-row stitch repeat we've been doing. And now here I am beginning row 2 of chain 1, turn, and beginning with that first half double crochet puff stitch. And so just continue your puff stitch row along this long edge and then down the other extension, and continue with rows 3 and 4 from our previous 4-row pattern repeat, and keep repeating rows 1 through 4 until you get to row 14. Row 14 will be the last row of puff stitches. For row 15, we'll chain 1, turn, and single crochet in the front loops along this edge. And so row 15 was the last row of our piece, and you can now finish off. I have the wrong side facing me, and now I'm folding down those long extensions with the short edges lined up with the bottom edge. And for the armholes, we just need to measure down 6 inches from the top of the fold and then stitch the side seam from that point down. And repeat for the other armhole. And now we'll be working on the bottom ribbing. I have the bottom edge facing up with the right side facing me, and then we'll attach our yarn to the first corner, chain 1, and then half double crochet evenly along this edge. And when you get to the end of the row, chain 1, turn, and half double crochet in the first stitch. And the next stitch will be a front post half double crochet. You just yarn over and go around the post of the half double crochet from the previous row. The next stitch will be a back post half double crochet. Just yarn over, insert your hook from the back, go around the front of the post, and complete your stitches normal. And then just repeat the front post and back post half double crochets until you get to the end of the row, ending with a half double crochet in the last stitch. And here I've already begun the third row. It starts the same as the second row, chain 1 and half double crochet in the first stitch, and then we'll be doing the front post half double crochets around the stitches that pop out to the front, and then back post half double crochets around the stitches that pop out to the back. And then just repeat this process for however long you want your ribbing. I did mine for 7 rows. And when your bottom ribbing is complete, turn and then work along the entire front edge of the shrug, beginning with a half double crochet in each stitch, and then repeat the front post, back post half double crochets in the next 2 rows. I did mine for 3 rows total. I had so much fun crocheting with you today. I hope you enjoy your beautiful shrug and join me again next time for another fun project. Bye for now.